We need to become aware how our consciousness is being hijacked. We need to become aware. It is not the many irritations of the moment, but the placement of the irritant that needs to be looked at. How something seems to interfere at exactly the right time. How the spiritualist is sneakily diverted from his destined path by strange phenomena, contrary phenomena, which arise exactly when the person, the spiritualist, begins to clue into his higher self in order to share that part of himself with the larger piece of humanity. Not only is the spiritualist under some sort of insidious attack, but also the spirit, the human spirit. The modus operandi of attack is very simple, but also difficult to see. The modus operandi is when the person is arising into his element, that's the place to strike and create a diversion. So the energy which is gathering in an integrated way will fragment. If you see the news today and you see all the areas relevant to human existence, whether it's climate, whether it's the next pandemic, whether it's an economic meltdown, whether it's young people struggling with genders, all of this is something which is hitting at the spirit just as it is organizing itself to an integrated ascent. So it is a very strange attack on the realizational peaking of anyone. This is something we need to think about. the realizational peaking of a young adolescent that is happening just as this young person is flowering from bud to flower. His mind is implanted with a fear so large that he fragments. Where does that energy go? Who picks up that fragmented energy? When a person, a 9 to 5 worker of any level, is under some sort of imminent threat that he could lose his job, it is destabilizing his apple cart and his way of life, his integrated self, his little house of cards looks like it's going to scatter. He comes under threat. His energy fragments. Where does that energy go? There is a lot of insidious energy harvesting that is currently at play. And this is being extracted from humanity at large, being siphoned out, sucked out. And this is actually, if you look at it, it's mental energy bordering on spiritual energy. It's the imminence of threat, not direct threat. It's that uncertainty when a person is placed in the precariousness of an uncertainty imminent of threat. His spirit becomes vulnerable through his mental states. The news media has become an active vampiring source of the human uncertainty. And there seem to be puppet masters. But this is the macro. Even at a micro level, this insidious modus operandi is being sneaked into interpersonal relationships where people are secretly and insidiously, surreptitiously vampiring from each other their mental, spiritual loosh. The dominance is not of true valor or true integrity. The dominance is how much can someone disturb another to destabilize his mental peace so that he can somehow dominate the person who he has disturbed, so that he can remain somehow in control. From the macro to the micro, this is going on. It is a fine detail that seems to be running from the highest to the lowest. What is this sickness that is hiding in plain sight? What is this anti-spirit mechanism which has been launched at the very spirit that we are? This anti-evolutionary behavior, not evolutionary in the Darwinian sense, but evolutionary in the spirit. Everything that we have been given to understand in any walk of collective human knowledge or collected human knowledge is suspect of truth. And when truth is served but in ways that belie its nature, which means lies are served as truth, it leads to the same kind of precarious placement of the imminent threat, where a person is doubting, guessing, and feeling threatened by something which he can't quite understand. And that takes too much of his spiritual energy. That's his refined spiritual energy, which is being harvested, stolen, vampired. This is the most beautiful thing that the human being possesses. It is like stealing the scent of a flower. Can you imagine? If there is a sin, it is this. And it is happening large scale, from the macro to the micro, from the invisible overlords and puppet masters pulling the strings of the world right down to the menial labor person who one may meet in the course of a day's work. This strange and vampirous domination to steal a person's sacred energy. It's amazing. I see these energy vampires, energy bandits, everywhere. And I see their agencies in the nature of the news, in the nature of the climate alarm, in the nature of war, in the nature of all these strange dominances that are churning around, creating a paradigm shift which seems to be riding a turtle's back, moving into another reality, and doing it in a way where the person is so confounded trying to understand from one subject to another that is being thrown at him in quick succession, where he doesn't know whether to focus on the daily of the established old paradigm or to catch this new ball which has come into his court. It is all happening in a very strange and disguised manner. Do you see what I'm trying to say here? That energy is being harvested through the imminence of threat. And we need to become alert and aware. The spiritualist needs to become alert and aware as to this strange modus operandi that is being applied. Om Tat Sat.